Next, I'd like to invite up Benoit Huet to ask the next question.
Thank you, Claire. Je m'appelle Benoît, je viens du Québec et je suis un athlète paralympique en natation. Je reviens tout juste de Pékin et puis je suis un membre actif de Athletes Can. My name is Benoit Huet. I'm from Longueuil, Quebec. I just represent Canada at our country at the recent Paralympic Games, and I'm an active member of Athletes Can. For my question, I'll say it first in French, and I'll continue in English. Nous aimons vraiment comment l'Australie a établi un ministère complet du sport au cabinet et une agence qui vient en aide au gouvernement pour gérer le sport et l'activité physique. J'aimerais savoir si on peut faire la même chose ici au Canada. For the English part, we really like what Australia has done in establishing political leadership for sport with a full minister at the cabinet table and a government-sponsored agency to deal with sport and the physical activity. Can we do that here? Thank you.
Thank you, Benoit. We'll start with Ms. Georges.
Thanks very much. Obviously, I've been the Secretary of State for Sport. I think it's an interesting idea, and I'm happy to go back and talk about that and maybe have a further conversation. But I do have to be perfectly honest. I mean, we're dealing with a situation right now in the global economy where we're faced with economic uncertainty. And as a politician and as a responsible person, I have to know what the costs of that would be before I could make commitments like that. I think that we need to make prudent and very responsible promises throughout this campaign. So you'll have my commitment to sit down and talk about what that would look like, because I do think it's very interesting, but I would have to see what the costs would be, and then overall, we have to look at what we're facing with the government.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move right to Mr. Kuzner.
I think it's a very important point, and as I had said in my opening comments, that certainly I contend that it would be a wise investment on any government's part to develop the Ministry of Sport, and certainly that's what we've been advocating. It has the support of over 140 agencies, sport advocacy groups across this country. We believe that there is probably the money within the system. We think that there is money within the system, and within that health system, I know as a member of Parliament, and I'm sure the Minister can attest to this as well, we are lobbied on a regular basis from a variety of different sectors and very important interest groups. And when we come to the health groups, whether it's diabetes or heart and stroke or whatever the group might be, there's always a component of their ask that goes back to physical activity and active living and so on and so on. And you know, those, it's sort of a case of connect the dots. Everybody is saying the same thing. They each want their own pool of money to advocate for healthier lifestyles, but you know, when you look at the substantive amount that's being asked for, would it not make more sense to turn those dollars into into some energy that will get people moving, encourage grassroots involvement, help develop facilities, develop the leadership that's necessary to get people moving, and then that would feed, to the top of the pyramid. So, and I think that could be done within a federal agency, within a federal ministry. So, as I said in my opening comments, I believe it's necessary. I think it's doable. I don't believe that there's a huge amount of additional cash outside of what's already there within on the table.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzner. Ms. Yogaretnam.
Thank you. I think the idea of Ministry of Sport is certainly something that I'd be interested in looking at, and I take back to the party. But with Australia, I know, or at least I believe that part of their the success of their athletes and their programs may also have to do with the fact that I believe they outspend us by a ratio of 4 to 1, and their training and funding programs are centralized, I believe, their housing and training programs as well, and that may contribute to the success that they encounter, apart from the fact that they have a Ministry of Sport. So just looking at the other ways in which we could address the same challenges, perhaps more efficiently, I think would be something that we're also interested in pursuing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. McHugh-Russell?
Thank you. I think the idea of a single agency responsible for sports promotion in Canada working with the provinces is an excellent idea. But I think the reason that we see such strong advocacy for a minister responsible for sport is because athletes in this country want real leadership on the sports issue. They want a government which is finally going to stand up, recognize the importance of sport and fitness in this country, and start doing something about it. And I have to take issue with what Ms. Georgia said. I think this is a political issue. It's about priorities and what our priorities are going to be in this country. We have athletes who can't afford to train full-time and have to work as well. We have parents who can't afford to put their kids in sports programs, who can't afford to help put them on the path towards being our amateur athletes of the future. That's a problem, and we need more than just talk on that issue. We athletes, parents, and young people, families are tired of waiting. They are saying to the government, they are saying, show us the money. Liberals have committed no new money in their platform for sports. They talk and they talk, but there is no money in their platform. Download it, look at the costing, and see look for sport, look for amateur, look for training. There's nothing in the costing about sports, so they can talk all they want. Conservatives, I'm sorry, but Ms. Georges, you haven't stood up to the IOC on the ski jumping issue. You said yesterday the International Olympic Committee is not controlled by the Government of Canada. We have no authority whatsoever. Our female ski jumpers are being kept out of the Olympics, and we haven't had leadership on this issue. Canadians don't just want a minister, they want a government which is going to be a leader on promoting sports and on making our athletes a priority and on making fitness a priority. It is a political issue. Jack Layton and the NDP are going to make it a priority, and I'm hoping to be a member of that government. Thank you.
Thank you very much.